Disclaimer: the fanfiction and sporkings in this video are property of their respective author and sporkers. A link to the original can be found in the description.
What's up, everybody? JX Pony here, and I'm a brony.
I'm Mr. The One, and I'm Asane, here with our first ever dramatic reading. Before we begin, a little backstory. Final Fantasy VII being the enormously popular series that it is, it does not suffer from a lack of Mary Sue self-inserts. So what makes the fanfiction SHINRA High so notoriously bad? One could say that it's partly because the author herself is infamous for having caused a ruckus in 2004, writing a journal where she claimed she was visiting the character Sephiroth on the astral plane.
Is this serious?
Yes, she took this with some amount of seriousness. So out of curiosity and morbid fascination, people began digging things up about her and found her fanfiction account under the username High Priestess Megami, which is fairly normal as far as fanfiction usernames go.
Oh god.
While her beliefs might have been what brought attention to her writing, the fanfiction itself was so bad that it remained burned into the minds of the readers forever as the pinnacle of bad writing and Mary Sue-ness. Unlike typical Mary Sue fanfictions, SHINRA High has decent grammar and spelling, and there is a hint of plot going on. All of these do very little to save the fanfic from being abysmal in terms of characterization, logic, common sense, and pretty much everything else. If common Sue fics annoy or amuse at least, this one infuriates, and you will soon find out why. Onward to the first chapter!
Please.
Shut up, we're doing this. SHINRA High.
Alternate title: I'm fucking amazing.
Chapter 1.
With which the nightmares begin.
Inquisitively, the freshman before the double doors of the school cocked her head to one side,
Raping the rules of English language all at once.
wondering what kind of a dump her parents had sent her to this time.
Judging by her attitude, I can't really blame them.
The school itself was very nice, but nevertheless, it wasn't exactly where she wanted to spend the next 4 years of her life.
Why?
Tough luck, Sue. Suck it up and deal with it. She wore a short black leather skirt, a halter top. As you can see, SHS doesn't have a dress code.
So tasteless, whorish clothes are totally okay.
And black leather boots that reached just above her knees. Her arms were adorned with elbow-length gloves that she'd cut the fingers off of, and her fingers each had a dragon claw ring. Her nails were painted a pretty shiny black. Her long blonde hair was loose, framing a paper white face. She had put on black lipstick and black eyeshadow, and that made her pale complexion look paler.
Does she work as a mime in her free time?
Around her neck and wrists were spiked bracelets and a necklace, respectively. The author shoved in the word respectively without knowing what it means and how it's used. In the above sentence, it conveys that she has bracelets on her neck and a necklace on her wrists. The order of mention matters when you say respectively. Anyway, her given name was Julia, but her friends called her Megami.
Which means goddess in Japanese. Wow, just look at the size of that ego, people.
Okay, so in the first paragraph, the author states that their character is a freshman. What are they doing in these whorish clothes? Trying to prove how different they are by wearing overpriced Hot Topic crap? Oh yes, because mainstream goth punk girls are so hard to come by nowadays. You know who you sound like? Hello, my name is Ebony Darkness Dementia Raven Way. And her describing everything about her appearance down to the makeup she's wearing. Only difference is that you are less funny and more stupid.
Indeed.
With an air of complete boredom, she kicked open the double doors and strode into the main hall, heading for the commons area of the school. Despite Sephiroth slaves' grave overuse of the word boredom, she probably never realized that what she was going for would be more an air of, casualness. There were still 30 minutes before first bell, and she sure as hell wasn't going to sit in a smelly classroom for that long and miss the excitement.
Time to bring out the super... I can't...
It's just a misspelled special, for God's sake.
It's a misspelled special? No
It's special. It's spelled S-P-E-S-H-U-L.
No wonder I couldn't freaking read it. Special Mary Sue attitude. God.
She laughed in her throat. This school was notorious for rowdiness. She'd fit in here.
Literally a few seconds ago, she was moaning about how she didn't want to spend the next 4 years of her life here.
Oh yes, because she's so different and awesome and such a punk. God, sarcasm leaves a vile taste in my mouth. The commons room was huge, and unlike her old middle school, everyone was conversing with everyone instead of the predetermined middle school cliques that tended to form. Ironically, Sephiroth Slave wrote this story when she was 12 and had absolutely no idea what high schools are like. Resolutely, she began to mingle, wondering if anything interesting would happen. Find me a school where that actually happens in a place other than Mary Suitopia. Seriously, mingling, wondering if anything interesting will happen. Show me a place where that's a thing.
Yes, please.
She'd gotten bored too soon. Just as soon as the thought of boredom crossed her mind, there was a crash, followed shortly by obnoxious laughter and a satanic scream of "Reno!" And a redhead, short for his age, came darting right in front of her and stopped. He was grinning, and Julia,
which also happened to be the author's first name,
could guess he'd been responsible for the crash, whatever it was. Julia frowned at him. He seemed like a pretty worthless punk, having sloppy, unkempt red hair and a t-shirt that was not tucked in, with overly baggy, poor-fitting jeans.
But you're not supposed to tuck in a t-shirt.
Shush! The crowd parted again to allow the shortest man she'd ever laid eyes on through.
Mini-me!
He looked furious. Reno, a worthless punk, sue you die now. The boy named Reno grinned. Hiya, sir! In a sing-song voice, he chanted, I'm back! Professor Hojo Okoko.
What?
That's his name.
Okay.
Oh, coconut. Anyway, Professor Hojo Okoko declared death at Reno. Final Fantasy VII, Hojo here uses the Japanese naming conventions. Hojo is actually his family name. Damn it, why didn't you drop out like you said you were going to? Reno pretended to look hurt. Why, sir, I came back to see you. I even put in a special request to be in your class. Again, for the second year since I enjoyed our first year so much. I don't know, I think I'd want to get as far away as I possibly could from Professor Hojo. Screw coming back a second year and request being in his class again. Hojo once again glared murderously at the out-of-line student. You realize, of course, that you just disabled the main stairway, right? That was my goal, sir. Of course, you stupid, destructive, pathetic excuse for a student. Do you realize how much you'll have successfully backed up hall traffic? Yep, you'll get your, that's YOU''RE your,
instead of YOUR.
annual first day of school trampoline. Hojo turned and whirled away from Reno. He began to walk away, only to be stopped by Julia.
Oh dear.
Come on, do the voice. Come on, just do the anime girl voice.
Fine. Excuse me,
She asked.
are you Professor Hojo? Because approaching an angry professor while he was in the middle of storming away from a scene to introduce yourself is a logical and natural thing to do.
Back to the conversation. Yes.
Oh, I'm in your homeroom. I'm Julia. Nice to meet you.
He stormed off.
His Mary Sue sense must have been tingling. Yep.
Julia muttered, mostly to herself. Hojo would be fun to torture. She'd show him what a real scientist was. She began to smile, only to have her thoughts interrupted by a new voice. It was low, mellow, pretty sounding. Hojo would be fun to... She'd show him what a real scientist was? This girl is rotten. What the hell does she know about science? She's a freshman in high school. Oh yeah. Super special, awesome Mary Sue. Of course she's a genius. She's gonna be smarter than Hojo.
Oh dear.
Oh wait. Pretty sounding voice. I see you've already met my father. The voice had disdain for the professor. Don't mind him.
In canon, Sephiroth does not know that Hojo is his father. However, Juliaverse is a mixture of canon and real life, all horribly matched together in a rotten cocktail.
Oh, enter the Sue's true love! She doesn't call herself the Sephiroth slave for no reason, you know. I haven't even read past chapter 3 yet, and I already know that they hook up. Julia whirled around to come face to face with the most gorgeous guy. Oh, fine, I'll read it. Bjorn Anderson, Gaspard Ulliel. Since she never bothered to describe the so-called gorgeous boy, I'll simply imagine that she's talking about this fellow here.
Oh yeah, he seems pleasant.
And she describes him as most gorgeous guy. True love, trademark. The upperclassman laughed. He's just about as pleasant as Scarlet with PMS, only he's like that all the time.
Oh God. Oh, okay. Oh, because that is exactly what Sephiroth would say.
Yeah, totally. Julia laughed. She'd heard tales of Scarlet, and judging by this man's obvious opinion of her, it was true.
So, just because a random guy that you know nothing about thinks that Scarlet has an unpleasant personality, it means it's an absolute infernable truth?
Apparently so.
Apparently, I'm Julia. By the way, who are you?
Sephiroth. My friends call me Seph.
Nobody in before Christ Core, FF Final Fantasy VII ever called him Seth. Not even Halo or Genesis, and they were his friends.
You've got homeroom with the old fart.
Cringe.
Seph? I hate to be cynical, only not really, but that sounds completely retarded as a nickname.
Yeah.
I feel sorry for you. He's always in a bitchy mood in the mornings. I don't have him until 4th.
Really? I have him 4th too.
Coincidence? I think not!
You must be in the advanced classes then. Normal freshmen aren't taught chemistry. Oh, but Sephiroth, she's super special awesome Mary Sue. Of course she's being taught chemistry.
It's also a source of great irony, since the author would end up being so terrible at chemistry that she would complain about that in her journal. I see. I'm not really surprised. My middle school teachers hated me.
I can see why.
They shipped me all over the school in search of a teacher that could effectively teach me. Does she have a learning disability?
We may never know.
When I graduated 8th grade, they recommended my parents to send me here to study with Professor Hojo.
A fine choice. Sounds like my life. And lucky us. Chances are such that we'll have Reno Vega in our class too. That is, of course, if he was telling the truth about requesting to be in Hojo's class. He's been held back several years running. Several years? I kill you!
I'm just thinking of something right now. Wonderful. The professor doesn't seem too fond of him.
He's not. He hates Reno. Reno is the school's biggest prankster. He's an obnoxious pain in the ass, if you know what I mean. He's killed almost a dozen people, at last count, but no one charges him with it because A, they're harmless pranks, and B, the principal, that's Principle,
Instead of Principal.
there's a difference. The principal wants him for the Turks if he graduates before he's a senior citizen.
Well, they're obviously not harmless pranks since he's killed people with them.
Julia grinned.
From what I've seen, he's unlikely.
Highly
That's
unlikely, Sephiroth laughed. Hojo doesn't even bother with tests for Reno. He hands Reno a specially designed test, pre-equipped with its own big red 0, and tells him to put his name on it.
That's really pathetic. Is he that bad a student?
Yes.
Oh, my parents would kill me. Literally.
A shame you take so much time at it. Literally?
Yeah.
She looked at the ground, toying with her spiked collar.
Hey, I'm Pitball. He has one of those too. My Pitbull has one of those too. Oh. No, I don't have a Pitbull. Dang it.
You should.
Oh, my line. Okay. My dad likes to throw things at me when he's mad. Sometimes for no reason. It's not a big deal usually.
Flashback. Julia's father, What? Another 500 Jill Hot Topic bill? I worked all week for that money! End flashback. Wah, 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 wah. Cry some more, baby! Sephiroth frowned. Julia, that is a big deal. Haven't you told anyone aside from me who you just met 2 minutes ago?
No.
She shook her head.
I feel like I can trust you. If my father found out I told you, he'd punish me. I can't say anything. You have known him for less than 5 minutes. What on earth possesses you to entrust a complete stranger with this kind of information?
That has to be illegal. You should talk to the police.
That wouldn't do much good. My dad is a high-ranking employee at SHINRA Inc.
SHINRA Incorporated.
SHINRA Incorporated. Really? He's a good friend with the president. He wouldn't even be charged.
Oh, that's true, unfortunately. Sephiroth shook his head. Try to stand up to him. That's really your only option. He took her hand. I feel a disturbance in the force. Sephiroth has never shown touching anyone. The only instance is when Zack places a finger on his shoulder pad. He brushes him away immediately. Sephiroth took her hand and examined the dragon claw rings. That's what you have these for. Use them. Aw, but Sephiroth was threatened with poker time with Hojo and a Sailor Moon marathon with Zack unless he initiated physical contact with her. Disclaimer, I actually rather like Sailor Moon. I don't think Sephiroth would unless it's his guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
Julia looked shocked.
Hit my father? I'd love to, but I wouldn't stand a chance against a gun.
He dared to pull a gun on you?
We hope so. After all, it's partially his fault that she came into this world. Yes, if I ever attacked him.
Do it, Julia's dad! Do it!
Just do it!
Yes! Make your dreams come true! Sephiroth's frown increased. Are you in the 11th grade gym class too?
Hi!
Have you ever considered being an anime voice actor? Hi! If you could read this line in a Japanese accent, that'd just be the best thing.
God. Hi! They decided not to waste their time with the basic.
Okay, just get through it. Just get to the narration.
Hold on. Okay. But I'm in 2 gym classes. Do you know what that's about?
She extended her schedule to them. She said, "Hi, you, little Sue, are not Japanese. Your name is Julia, which is not Japanese. You sound like a little weeaboo more than anything right now."
I'm dying.
Sephiroth examined Julia's schedule carefully. Yes, he said after a pause. You were in the basic 11th grade gym course and the soldier training course. He raised his eyebrows. You must have been in a previous fighting course?
No, I haven't, unless you count basic combat, but that I taught myself.
Of course!
Of course she did. Like,
That's odd. Normally only people who have been in fighting courses straight out of the womb are allowed. That's allowed, like, as in, he said it aloud.
A-L.
The right allowed.
they spelled it A-L-O-U-D instead of A-L-L-O-W-E-D.
Into these courses. Did you test into it?
Yes, when
Can you say hi again?
Where is this? Is there a hi in here somewhere?
No, there's
Oh,
not.
there's
Just say it instead of yes. Come on.
We're having way too much fun with this.
Yeah, keep going, man.
Hi. When When I offered my application, the administrator asked what courses I wanted to be in. I told them I'd like to try out for everything and I'd go with the best. My academic test said that I could be in 12th.
Straight from middle school? What a gem we have here!
Mary Sue, everyone. Anyway. But I decided to take the 11th grade course to accumulate credits of college.
In the Final Fantasy VII world.
To get into the second gym course, they had to spare with some... They had me spar with some huge 12th grader.
You didn't get too badly hurt.
Are you kidding? He was a pushover.
And of course she beat him easily. Sephiroth smiled. I see this isn't in quotations, so I guess this is a narration. Sephiroth smiled. I see we have both gym periods together. Science, history, French.
In the Final Fantasy VII world. But there is no French.
And band. Damn. This is still not quote, so I assume this is the narrator
no, there's a quote.
Oh!
There is a quote.
There's a quotation mark at the end of this sentence, but not at the beginning, so... Just I'm gonna read it as the narrator.
Okay.
Damn. We have the same teachers for calculus and Japanese. No Japan in the Final Fantasy VII world either.
Yeah.
But our periods are switched. I have Japanese first, and you have calculus first.
I'm glad we have so many classes together.
You and me!
My God, this is... I can't take much more.
Sephiroth laughed. A rarity.
How does she know that when she's only known him for 10 minutes and he laughs 3 times in this chapter? How can this be a rarity?
Omniscient narrator, you are contradicting yourself.
Indeed. I think, yeah.
No, okay, that's Sephiroth.
So am I.
No, wait, that's Sephiroth. No, he's gonna have that kind of voice from now on.
So am I. No.
The bell rang, piercing through the first stage chatter. Well, I better get going. See you in third.
Knock it off.
I'm doing it now.
No, you're not. Hi. I'm done.
No, you're not. We're almost to the end.
I finished the chapter and I'm ending this.
Yeah. So Julia responded with that, turning herself to head up 2 flights of stairs to her calculus class, realizing too late the flaw in her path, as through a group of students she saw the gaping hole in the stairwell.
Good grief.
She looked at a girl standing next to her.
Who is she, Charlie Brown?
Oh, good grief.
Yeah. What in the hell happened?
I haven't the faintest idea. I'm just a freshman.
So am I. I'm also pissed I can't afford to be late.
She began shoving her way towards the hole, pushing aside everyone, praying she'd have time to get up the next staircase and to her classroom without 2 words, as opposed to without the word.
Yeah.
Without further interruption, she reached the hole and realized the size of the gap. 5 or 6 feet of staircase gone. A frown marred Julia's face for a moment.
God damn it! I don't have time for this.
Making sure her book bag was securely on her back, she bent her knees, placing her right foot out behind her, and landing cleanly on the other side.
In Juliaverse, failure is not an option.
Or so she thought. She actually fell 3 stories down and went into a coma. The rest of this fanfic is just a coma dream based on her delusions.
I hope so.
She straightened up, brushing her hair back over her shoulder, and ignoring the gasps and cries of,
What are you doing?
She began to run, aware she only had 2 minutes to get into her classroom. Julia sank into her seat about... There's a period.
There's a period.
Yeah, about. End of sentence. New sentence. 12 seconds before the bell rang. With a long sigh, she pulled out a notebook and a pencil, awaiting the arrival of the professor scheduled to try to teach her something. Only the first chapter and my urge to kill her is at 94%.
Oh, good. We had the first chapter. Thank God.
Thank you for listening in, ladies and gentlemen.